So largely yes. For the thing that we do, as I mentioned, when AI is going to be used upstream compared to where we sit, it's going to be for digesting the regulatory text. There are definitely humans that are involved in the loop. There are going to be areas increasingly where we will be able to take humans out of the loop. And here I'm thinking about the ideas that we've seen emerging for the past couple of years on generative AI, where effectively the idea of having a compliance co-pilot, and we see more and more solutions emerging in that area. But I think by and large, AI and even the generative sort in the RegTech ecosystem at this point is going to be enhancing what the humans do as opposed to replacing for sure. Yeah, so I mean, for us, the big value is really in the networking. It is the biggest gathering of RegTech professionals globally, and they come from all areas of the industry. You literally have all the ecosystem that's present here. You have obviously the sellers and the buyers of technology. You have investors. You have the market practitioners and the advisors. So the quality of the RegTech-centric conversations that you're going to get by mingling with those people is going to be unmatched. So yeah, for us, it's really that value in being connected to the rest of the ecosystem. So regulatory reporting, the only constant is change. So just this year, we had 3 new reporting regimes that went live, and we're going to have another 3 by the end of the year. So it's ever changing, and this is what financial institutions can expect. What's interesting is the first part of my career before I founded Regnosys. I was in investment bank. I worked for 13 years at Goldman Sachs, and I remember post the 2008-2009 crisis, there were repeated talks about when there was a big regulatory wave. We're going to be soon past the hump, and everything's going to be fine after that. The reality is that wave keeps increasing and increasing and increasing, and it's going to be never ending. So some of the key challenges include the volume of change, what I just talked about, meaning it's not just never ending, but the size that you have to digest is massive. There are some reports that say, if you were to pile up all of the pages of regulatory text that you find around the world, that it would go above the Eiffel Tower. Legend or reality, there is truth in it, which is, it's very, very voluminous. The other challenge that financial institutions report is implementation timeframe. So effectively, changes come in quick succession, and no sooner have you worked on a previous reporting regimes or regulatory regime that you suddenly have to focus all of your resources and energy on the next, and typically with a relatively tight time frame to work from one to the other. So a lot of talk recently has been on the move to T+1 settlement, for instance, across the industry. And it's coming in the US, and as generally it is the case, it's spreading across the other regions. So it's going to come in Europe as well with task force, and the time that the industry has to effectively get compliant with these new regulations is very, very tight. Another challenge is the complexity. So firms have to comply with very, very complex set of rules, overlapping requirements between jurisdictions, mind-bending ambiguity and lack of clarity, which means a lot of resources is spent internally, deciphering what it is that you have to actually comply with. And finally, a fourth challenge is ever increasing supervisory scrutiny, with the risk of, not just the risk of fines, but also the time that it takes for management and auditors at financial institutions just managing the relationship with the regulators under that increased scrutiny, eventually so that they all do their data disclosure so that it is complete accurate and timely, and there are more and more fines that are being issued for lack of meeting those obligations. Okay, so this is this adaptability is actually Regnosys superpower. So just a little bit about our business. So we're actually a collaborative platform for regulatory reporting. What that means is we allow financial institutions, that's banks, asset managers, to cut their risk and cost of reporting by working together. So what that means is that those firms collaborate on our platform. They take the text, the regulatory text as an input, digest it, and then they codify all the rules together. And then on the other end, they consume that output that they have co-developed together. So the adaptability on our end comes from the fact that we do provide a platform, a venue for the industry to congregate and work together, and they are the ones with the existing compliance teams, business analyst team to effectively digest all of those rules and regulations that are never ending. But the unique selling point is that they are able to neutralize that effort. So that's really our superpower. And our platform doesn't need to continue to adapt to those new regulatory change because effectively we are simply allowing the industry to work together to develop it. So one thing that can be said about Regnosys is that we are not AI washing. AI is not in our name. It's not even in our website extension, our domain extension, and it is not in our marketing material either. That being said, that doesn't prevent us from actually doing, I call that quiet AI. So on our side, that revolves around two components. The first component sits upstream to what we do, which is facilitating the digestion of the regulatory text, the legal text coming from the regulators, so that the industry market participants who are using our platform to codify the rules effectively have an easier job because it's been pre-digested. So AI is very much an enabler of that. And the way we work on that is that we effectively we identify and then work with partners in that space who are providing those solutions that are upstream. So not doing it directly, but in partnership with other firms in the ecosystem. The other area where we are applying it, and I'm quite chuffed about this one because it's a current R&D project that's very exciting for us, is looking at the technical integration part. So effectively, once clients want to adopt the solution and effectively use our solution to do their reporting in production, then they map what we do to their internal systems. And here there is a very big potential for AI to effectively facilitate that mapping, because even though all firm systems, they are all different, there are lots and lots of patterns and similarities. That means that there is a lot of reusability, and AI, we see that as an enabler of the technical integration that is typically, it's a slowdown in adoption that can be accelerated massively.